Hello, I'm Bill, and I'd like to welcome you to Sevierville, Tennessee. I'm here looking at homes because I'm tired of the high cost of living in California, and Sevierville has some really great deals to offer. Beautiful homes out in the country, close to the Smoky Mountains, and one thing that's really neat is Sevierville is not your typical kind of out there Tennessee town. It has a lot to offer. It's very busy. There's traffic, there's energy, there's all the conveniences of civilization, but yet you can live just outside of town and have a beautiful home and have the serenity of the country and of course the beauty of the Smoky Mountains. And it is certainly just beautiful here. So let's have a look around. I'll show you this home from the street. This home, I believe, is selling for maybe around $555,000 on approximately an acre of land. And it's lots of real estate deals here like this home. So if you're looking to get away from the high cost of something somewhere, Sevierville, Tennessee may be for you. We're looking at a beautiful home for sale here in Sevierville, Tennessee. And I apologize for the shakiness. Hopefully my iPhone will be able to take it out. But let me just give you an idea of what the view is here out in the country. Those right there are the beginning of the Smoky Mountains. And you'll find a lot of subdivisions in this area, like this one, that are out here on the edge of town, and it's just absolutely beautiful. There are just no two ways about it. If you want the conveniences of the city, it's nearby. But if you want the peace and serenity of the country, this is the place. I'm here in Sevierville, Tennessee, and I'd like to welcome you to Buc-ees. What is Buc-ees? Well, it's a gas station, but it's not just a gas station. It is an absolutely huge gas station with a huge market that has just about anything that you could think of wanting. There's delicious food, there's all kinds of trinkets, there's all kinds of apparel, everything. So, welcome. It's a very beautiful day here in Sevierville, Tennessee, as you can see. In just a minute, I'm going to turn the camera around and you'll be able to see Buc-ees off in the distance. I won't be able to go inside, unfortunately, because they have a strict no video policy, but at least you can see how big Buc-ees is. This, my friends, is Famous Dave's Barbecue. Now, here in Tennessee, they know what barbecue is. And it ain't meat with sauce on it. It is real smoked barbecue. 8 hours plus, absolutely delicious. And I'm gonna go inside right now and I'm gonna get some. And I am gonna thoroughly enjoy it. We used to have a lot of Famous Dave's restaurants in Southern California and they closed. So I don't know why that is, but unfortunately, it's our loss. So You guys have a nice dinner, and I'm gonna go have mine. Good morning. I'd like to welcome you to Oak Grove Cemetery in Paducah, Kentucky. I have some family members that are buried here, and while I'm in town, of course, I want to stop here, pay my respects to them, and remember them. I've also got a good friend that is buried here, so I want to visit him too. The sun is right in my face, as it always works out, so hopefully I'm centered up in the frame. So let's go inside and visit my family. Oak Grove is an old cemetery. I believe that it was originally built around 1850. I'm not quite sure on that. I'm not a historian, but it's been here a long time. It's a very big cemetery too. This is my grandma and Grandpa Grogan, and it's really tugging at my heart and making me very emotional. They passed away before I was born, and I never had a chance to know them. All that I know about them is from what my sister and my mother that's passed away have told me, that they were wonderful people. They were godly people, and I really wish that I could have known them. And it also makes me very emotional that after all these years, I'm meeting them for the first time. This cemetery is very old, and it's unmarked. The sections are unmarked. Some of the streets, well, most of the streets are marked, but the graves themselves are unmarked. So I had to ask the crew, who were very kind, to help me locate them, and they did. Wonderful people. This is my little sister, Judith Ann Walton. She passed away when she was about a year old, and this is the first time I've had the opportunity to come visit her. She passed away in 1943. I wasn't born until 58, so I never got to know her. I know she had some kind of illness and passed away, but it makes me very emotional to come here, to know that my grandparents and Judy lived. They're my family, but I never had the chance to know them. But it's good that I got to visit them. And I'm very honored to have the opportunity to visit them. I didn't think that it would be so emotional, but it really is. It's really, really tugging at my heart as I try to make this video. I wish that I would have known them, that I would have had the opportunity to know them. I'd like to welcome you to Kentucky Dam. I'm about 20 miles east of Paducah here in Kentucky, and this behind me is the mighty Kentucky Dam. The Kentucky Dam dams up Kentucky Lake, a very large lake that borders the Land of the Lakes recreation area, Kentucky Lake and Lake Barkley here in western Kentucky. This is, of course, the Tennessee River that you're seeing behind me. My family has fished these waters for as far back as I can remember. This lake, this dam, the river, all of this has some very, very long and strong memories for me, all the way back to when I was a kid fishing in our boat. So let's have a look around, and I'll take a panorama and you can have a better look. We're currently looking down the Tennessee River towards Paducah. Now, as you can see, there's a train bridge here, and also there is a car bridge. Now, both of these bridges were not here the last time I was in Kentucky. This is something new. When I was here back in the mid-70s, the only way across the dam was on top of the dam itself. There was like a 2-lane highway that went across it. Now, I hear that you can still go across it, but it terminates over on the other side of the dam by the hydroelectric part. But you can see there's a few fishermen out today. We fished earlier, didn't catch anything. Maybe because they knew we were from California, I guess. But anyway, we're gonna go across the lake, across the river to the other side of the dam that you can see if you look out across where those big power line towers are. There's a pier over there that just sticks out of the water by maybe 6 inches or so, and the exhaust or discharge from the hydroelectric part of the dam, which is right over there, goes right across that pier. And the water is very swift in there, and there can be some good fishing in there. As a matter of fact, I can see a lot of fish jumping out there. I don't know exactly what kind of fish they are, but they certainly didn't want our lures. So it looks like it's a popular place to fish under these bridges, maybe not only for the shade, but also for the current as it goes around the pylons. If you look way out in the distance right there, you can see this big concrete cylinder. That's where the barges tie off before they go through the lock and lock through to the upper part of the lake. They'll leave their barges down there, you know, tie on as many that they can fit in the lock, go through the lock, tie them off on the upper side of the lake, then come back and then get the other ones that they left over here. And you see that all the time. You see barges and tugs coming down from the lake itself. They lock through, and then you can see also barges and tugs that lock through from the riverside. Also, fishing boats can lock through too. Usually you have to wait until a barge comes through, then you just kind of sneak in there, and then you can lock through with them. Good morning. We're still here in Paducah, and behind me is our trusty steed, our 2025 Jetta rental car. And I do have to say that this little car is great. It's comfortable. You can drive and drive and drive and not have to pay a fortune for gas. I drove all over the place for 2 days in Knoxville and I paid like 18 bucks. You know, it was only down to a half tank. The only thing that I didn't like about it was the stereo, which was substandard, especially on AM. It was horrible actually. But otherwise, you know, playing my radio station through it and listening to FM radio stations and stuff was good. So we're going fishing today, so let's get to it. So what you're looking at is this small inlet where the boat dock used to be. And as I move around a little bit, you'll be able to see the original pylons. You can see them sticking up out of the water. There was big steel cables that went from them over to the boat dock. And as I move around a little bit further, we'll come to the other side. Looks like they're doing some construction work over there in the distance. That's the train bridge right there, the I-24 bridge, sorry. And very close to that, which is just out of the frame, is the I-24 bridge, the train bridge, I'm sorry. What you're looking at is the original inlet for the bait and tackle store, a floating bait and tackle store that used to be right here approximately 50 years ago. If you look in the distance, you can see those big pylons that are sticking up, or those big pipes. They had maybe 1 inch in diameter steel cable, which went over to the bait and tackle store. And on the other side of the bank are the other side pylons. That's the I-24 bridge in the distance. And as we move around, you'll be able to see the other two pylons sticking up, or poles. One of them still has a piece of cable hanging from it. I don't know if you can see it. I'd have to zoom in. But you can see this was a pretty good size area that they made just for the floating bait and tackle store. That was here for many years, and it was really a welcome stop. You know, you've been fishing all day, you can come in here and just tie up in your boat and go inside and get a nice cold Coke and something to eat. Also plenty of bait, minnows, night crawlers, just about anything you can think of, they had it there. But if you're not from around here, you won't know about this. I don't know how many people still remember it. They'd have to be at least as old as I am, 67. Good morning. I'm here at Stice Cemetery number 1 in Tatumsville, Kentucky. And why is Tatumsville important, you might ask? Well, my father was born here. He's not buried here. He's buried in Southern California, but he was born here in Tatumsville, Kentucky. My name is Bill Walton, and there are a lot of Waltons buried in this little country cemetery. This is Stice Cemetery number 1, and if you think it's out here, it is. We're way out in the country. There's probably maybe 98 people buried here, and there's a few houses around here, the sound of the road but just way, way, way out in the country. Now, my Uncle Willard and my Aunt Vera is buried here. And there's probably maybe about 10 Waltons total buried here, who I don't know, but I'm probably related to them in one way or another. So let's have a walk around and visit my relatives and see who else is here at Stice Cemetery number 1 in Tatumsville, Kentucky. So let's go. This is my Aunt Vera, and this was my mother's sister. Now, Aunt Vera was not born a Walton. She was born a Grogan, but she married my dad's cousin, Willard Walton, and became a Walton. And as a matter of fact, Willard is buried right next to her here with his first wife, Elizabeth. But I certainly do have fond memories of my Aunt Vera. She was just the sweetest person, and she was always doing little things for me, like when I would go over to her house, she would have something special to eat. She had a Singer sewing machine, one of the old ones that has the pedal on the floor and had the belt that went up to the machine. And every time that I go over there, I loved to, rock that pedal down there because it had a big flywheel on it, and then you could rock it and get it going real fast. And my mom always got angry. She didn't want me playing on it, but my Aunt Vera would say, "Margie, let that precious little thing play." And so Aunt Vera, when she knew I was coming, she always had to belt off the sewing machine so I could play with it. She was also a great cook, great food. There was always something to eat, as I said, when I went to Aunt Vera's. So I loved her very much, and I certainly do miss her. And I'm glad I found her here at Stice Cemetery number 1, because I had no idea where she was buried, but after talking to my relatives in Paducah, we were able to locate her. So let's move on around and see who else is here. Now, this is my Uncle Willard and his first wife, Elizabeth. My Aunt Vera was Willard's second wife. I don't remember these particular Waltons, but I'm sure I'm related to them in some way. These might have been my Uncle Willard's parents. Here's a marker, but there's no name on it. So let me zoom out a little bit, and we'll just have a walk around the cemetery here so you can see what's going on. This cemetery is very old. Goes back to, I saw some back as early as 1830, or 1850 rather, I'm sorry. Some of the stones can't be read. Here is, yeah, well, there you go, 1838. Wow. Here's an 1836. Wow, here's a 1810. So this cemetery is a little older than I thought. These are Collins. This must have been Jimmy's wife. Here's another Collins in the back. A very old stone Ennis. Well, I really enjoyed my visit of Stice Cemetery number 1 here in Tatumsville, Kentucky. And I've never been out here before. As I previously said, my father was born here. So it's good to see where he came from and where other family members are that I didn't know existed. So it was good to visit them. So I'm going to hop back in my 2025 Jetta and head back to Paducah and pick up my son. I'm standing in front of Marshall County High School. I went to this high school 1975, 76, and 77. I graduated in 1977, but I didn't finish high school here. There was about 6 months left and we moved back to California. So I had to finish the rest of my high school in California. But I'm going to turn the camera around and let you have a look at it. It is so different. I don't even recognize it, to tell you the truth. Of course, that's been 50 years ago, so it's certainly been a long time. So let's have a look. I think the reason that I don't recognize it is because they built onto it. At the time when it opened, which was the first year that I was here, was in 1975. And it was a beautiful school. I mean, it still is. State-of-the-art brick, just absolutely beautiful. I also joined the Air Force Junior ROTC here at the school. And I remember I was a second lieutenant flight commander. So I would march our troops around this parking lot. But it looks completely different. As I said, I don't even recognize it. I'm gonna maybe drive back there a little bit and have a look, see if I can recognize something. I'm here at Maplelawn Park Cemetery in Paducah, and I came to visit a special friend, my friend Walter Cherry. Walter was my brother's best friend when they were young, maybe 18, 19 years old. And Walter, he was a friend's friend. Walter was the kind of person that if you were stranded way out on a country road at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning and you had absolutely no one that was going to come and get you, you could call Walter and he would come out and get you. Walter was kind, he was caring and loving, and I certainly do miss him. The world was a wonderful place because he was in it. His wife, Joyce, I see I see her name here, but I don't know if she is actually buried here. I kind of lost track of her. So she could be here, she may not. I don't see any dates, so I don't know exactly what's going on there. But anyway, Walter Cherry, my brother's best friend, a very good friend to me. Back in 1974-75, I used to talk to Walter on the CB radio. We lived in Calvert City, and Walter lived in Ledbetter, and his handle was the Cherokee. So we used to talk back and forth from time to time on the radio, and then we'd meet up any time that we'd get. My friend, my buddy Walter Cherry. And when I was a kid, I just adored him. Every time I'd come over, my brother would hardly get to see him because I was all over him. And I just loved Walter. This is my Aunt Teddy. I have many, many childhood memories of her. She was very sweet. She was always doting over me and loving on me, and just always made my life wonderful. I can remember her buying me a lot of fancy outfits when I was really young. As a matter of fact, a lot of the pictures of me when I was young, those clothes that I had on were from Aunt Teddy. And here is her marker. Aunt Teddy was a Grogan, of course, my mother's sister. I certainly do miss her. Have so many relatives here in the Paducah area that have passed on. Maplelawn is a very large cemetery here in Paducah. Besides Walter Cherry and my Aunt Teddy, I don't have any other relatives buried here. But it is a beautiful cemetery. It's not too far from downtown Paducah, just next door to Oak Grove Cemetery, where my Grandma and Grandpa Grogan are buried, and my little sister Judy. But it's very nice and peaceful out here. It's a nice day. Maplelawn Park Cemetery, Paducah, Kentucky. I'm here at Mount Kenton Cemetery on Lone Oak Road in Paducah to see two special people, my Aunt Linda and my Uncle Monroe. This is my Aunt Linda and Uncle Monroe. I have so many fond memories of them. I love them, and I certainly do miss them. Aunt Linda was a Walton. She was my dad's sister, and she married Monroe Lampley. And while I was here in Paducah, I saw all of my cousins too, their daughters. So that was a very special treat. I remember when Uncle Monroe, when I was younger, he was very good with a bullwhip. And he used to come after us kids with it, you know, just to scare us. And we would run, you know, it was so fun. And I remember the times that we would go over to Aunt Linda's and Uncle Monroe's to have dinner, and it was so good. and I'd get a chance to see my cousins, and we'd all play around, have a good time. Certainly do miss them, and I'm glad that I had a chance to see them on my trip to Kentucky. Rest in peace. Mount Kenton is not as large as Maplelawn or Oak Grove, but it is a fairly good-sized cemetery nonetheless. Very peaceful out here, backed up against the woods. I don't know how old this cemetery is, but I would imagine it might go back maybe to the late 1800s, maybe. I'm still here at Mount Kenton Cemetery off of Lone Oak Road here in Paducah. I have one more stop, and I have stopped to visit my brother-in-law. Donald Dunn was my sister's husband. This is my brother-in-law, Donald Earl Dunn. I have many memories of him when I was maybe 9, 10 years old. We used to stay at their home when we would come in on vacation every year from California, and I get to play with my nieces and nephews, Kathy and Donnie. Now my sister, who is still living, her name is on this stone, but she's not going to be buried here. She's going to be buried in Dyersburg. So Donald's parents are here, Grandma and Grandpa Dunn, and they're just behind Donald's grave. So I'm going to move over there. So these are Donald's mother and father, Byron and Ruby. I remember them well when we would come in on our trips from California, and got a chance to interact with them and always enjoyed their company. This is 3310 Central Avenue. I have a lot of history here in this house. This is where my sister lived with my brother-in-law Donald that passed away. We used to come in every year on vacation from California. We'd stay here with my sister, would play with my niece and nephew. And right next door is where his mother and father, Byron and Ruby, lived. So I know the inside of this house. I came many, many times. That was a big backyard, and we used to play there. We had a lot of fun along the railroad tracks too, because the trains would come by, you know, and we'd wave at them. So this certainly brings back a lot of childhood memories. This is 3903 Clarks River Road. I was brought here not too long after I was born because we lived here. Now you got to ask yourself the question, why would anybody bring their kid to a car lot? That's because 65 well, let's just go 67 years ago, there was no car lot here. My dad's radio and TV shop was here, and our house was here. So there's a lot of history right here. And now, of course, everything is gone, and nothing of our home, our history is left. Just the car wash. I'm here at the Fort Louden historical site, and this is Louden Lake. This surrounds the historical site. This is the Tennessee River, of course, and it is just absolutely beautiful out here. Have we caught anything? Not yet, but we're hopeful. So just enjoy this wonderful view. I'm here at Douglas Lake in Sevier County in East Tennessee, about 20, maybe 25 miles east of Knoxville. And it's a beautiful day out here. I don't see anybody fishing though. So let me turn the camera around and give you a look. I'm here at Mutton Hollow State Park in eastern Tennessee. And if you think that Mutton Hollow is way out here, well, it certainly is. I can tell you one thing, the fish don't seem to be glad to see us, as we haven't caught much, but the mosquitoes are certainly glad to see us. Dinner has just walked right in, so they've been enjoying our company out here. But anyway, Mutton Hollow is located about maybe 20-25 miles east of Sevierville, Tennessee. And it's way out here on the river that leaves the Douglas Dam. I don't know exactly what the name of the river is, but that is the river. It's the river below Douglas Dam. And we noticed that Douglas Lake was very low. And you can tell that they're releasing a lot of water because the current is very swift over here on the river. So let me turn the camera around and we'll have a look. So as I said, this is Mutton Hollow. And as you can see, we're out here in the woods. I'll just continue to pan around. You can see how wooded it is. This trail right here goes down to some fishing holes, fishing spots, and my son is on one of them. And as I come on around to the right, you can see the river out there. And there's a boat dock here not too far behind me. I can hear downriver that there's kind of like the sound of rapids. So I don't know what's going on downriver, but we're not close enough to be able to see it. So let's just take a walk down the trail, see what's going on with my son. I know he caught a fish earlier, but it fell off of the lure. So that's basically been it. We've only got like one bite. Yeah, you can see my son down there. We've contributed a couple of lures and a spinnerbait to the tree that's just to the right of my son, which will be a permanent donation to the state of Tennessee. As we get closer to the bank, you'll be able to see how big this river is. It is a good sized river, and it's very fast moving because they're releasing a lot of water from Douglas Dam. Well, we made it back to Southern California safe and sound. We'd like to thank you for joining us on our vacation to Kentucky and Tennessee. If you like this video, click on like and click on subscribe so that you can see more videos just like this one when we put them out. Thank you for joining us.